How's it going, people? Welcome back to yet another video. Today, we're going to try something a little bit new because there's a lot of change going on in the channel, and you're going to see the theme be change. The theme's going to be change quite a bit today, is what I'm trying to say. Now, there's a lot of change on the channel because I do have a Discord, so if you haven't joined it, feel free. I'm gonna eventually host some debates on there about different stuff, and it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be nice. With that being said, we are doing something different today because I've got some things to confess. Number one, potatoes. And number two, I miss my friends. Yeah, I really do. Now, you might call me a dweeb, or you might call me soft, or you might call me a vulgar word starting with a P. But I think I can convince you otherwise because I'm seriously just at a point in my life where all these things are changing and it's drastic and my brain can't handle it and it's just nuts. You see, I was very fortunate to have a tight-knit group of friends all throughout my life, pretty much starting from elementary school to now. And when I say that we did everything together, we did everything together. You know, we got in trouble together, we had fun together, we did everything, and it got to the point where I would I would expect, and there's probably gonna be a few watching that you would agree with this, and we would call it each other family rather than just friends. Pretty much every single day after school or even during school, we were looking for ways to involve each other in our lives. And I count myself very lucky to have met such a wonderful group of people that stayed with me for so long. Some of you might resonate with this, seeing as you might have had some friends where it's this level of love as well. And if you don't, well, I have empathy for you too, because you're not alone. Because, well, I've been feeling alone lately too. To provide further context, as I already mentioned, I am at this drastic point in my life where a lot of things are starting to change. I'm 20 years old, and in America, that's at a point where you're about halfway through college, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. Or if you're not in college, you're probably already working or doing something like that, and life's really starting to come at you. Either way, whether you're in school, out of school, whatever. 20 years old, big time, where things are changing all the time. As I said, I'm about halfway done college, and this feeling of change has been happening ever since I entered college. And I'd say that it's similar to when you graduate from elementary school to middle school, and middle school to high school, and like I said, high school to college. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, my feelings about all this change were slightly delayed almost because my college was all online and so were most of my friends. So they were still local, we were still seeing each other all the time, and I didn't really get that full effect until last year, but even more so now, I would say. The pandemic is now over, roughly speaking, and so while my college does offer online courses, obviously, most of us students are taking in-person classes, and the same goes with my friends. And the ones that haven't have already entered the workforce, and you see these paths divulging. These times of doing everything together are over for my friends and I. While I'm not fully disconnected from them by any means, gone are the days of going out and looking for that thrill, having the access to each other, if you will. We will still see each other and pop up in each other's lives. Reflecting on this, it's extremely difficult not to feel lonely or have almost an existential dread. But I think The Office puts it very well in one of the most emotional scenes in television history.
Now I'm exactly where I want to be. I got my dream job at Cornell. And I'm still just thinking about my old pals. Only now they're the ones I made here. I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them.
As you might have seen by some of my other videos, I'm not really a person to just sulk around and feel these feelings and let them really drag me down. I think it's important to recognize these negative emotions. But like I said, if we just let them batter us down for too long, it won't get us anywhere and it'll just leave us worse off. So where do we go? Because obviously something like this, it's impossible to really just forget and move on. Here we have our potatoes and Alan Watts and our potatoes. I love potatoes. Alan Watts was a philosopher and he was more along the lines of Eastern philosophy. So, in other words, there's a lot of concentration on Zen, spirituality, peace of mind. It's pretty individualistic, I'd say, rather than something like Plato, who is worrying about society, or Locke, who's worrying about society. Very Zen. Very Zen. If there is anyone who ever achieved peace of mind, I think it's fair to say that it probably was Alan Watts. One of Watts's most famous sayings goes, Zen spirituality is not peeling the potatoes and thinking about God. Zen spirituality is simply peeling the potatoes. In other words, being is the only way to achieve Zen or peace of mind. If your mind is somewhere else while you're doing something, how could you be present? Taking this into account for our lives, feeling that flavor of nostalgia seasoned with dread, it would be ineffective to keep peeling our potatoes and thinking about this. Or, instead of peeling the potatoes, living while thinking about this. One of my favorite episodes of the Midnight Gospel, check it out if you haven't, is the episode with Duncan Trussell's mother, and they construct this analogy for life, which is pretty much that life is a river. It's going downstream, so to speak, one current, and you're in a canoe rowing along. Doesn't make sense to fight against the current.